Hello, everyone. Today I have a somatic series for you that targets a little bit of everything. So it works with the flexor muscles on the front of the body, the muscles that pull us forward. It works on the extensor muscles in the back, the muscles that help us arch our back. It works with the glutes, the hamstrings, the hip flexors. And we'll also be doing some rotation of the shoulder joint, so some internal and external rotation. So we're going to start on our backs. So come on to your back. And sometimes it's nice just to start in Shavasana, extending the arms and the legs. Take a moment to let the body settle in and just get a sense of how things feel right now. You might notice any areas that tend to cause you problems or discomfort. Areas like the neck, the shoulders, the low back. Let's go ahead and bend the knees and plant the feet. Take your arms out to a T and then bend the elbows so that you make a goalpost with your arms. So the tips of the fingers are pointed straight up toward the ceiling or the sky. The first thing we're going to do is sort of test the range of motion in our shoulders. So first we're going to externally rotate the shoulders. So let your hands fall back, so the backs of the hands are going towards the floor. And just notice whether you can comfortably bring the backs of the hands to the floor. If not, feel free to place a prop underneath the hands. So that might be a towel under each hand or a blanket or something that kind of works with your range of motion. So feel free to pause the video and grab a prop if you want one. And then we're going to come back to our starting position. So this will be our starting position for all of our exercises today. Knees bent, arms and goalposts. So we're going to test our internal rotation now. So begin to lower the arms, lower the palms toward the floor. And you might notice some restriction there, and that's fine. Chances are the palms won't go all the way to the floor. In order to get the palms to go to the floor, you're probably going to have to lift the head a little bit and lift the shoulders a little bit, and that might allow you to get your palms down to the floor. And that's just fine because we'll be doing that in our exercises. So that's our internal and external rotation of the shoulders. So external rotations, backs of the hands come back beside the head. Internal rotation, the palms come down toward the hips. Okay. So our first movement, we're going to inhale and arch the lumbar and the thoracic spine away from the mat. The hips stay down and the shoulders stay down. And then on the exhale, we're just going to come back to a neutral spine. Again, inhale, arch the low back. If you like, you can kind of press down through the upper arms. Notice the tilt of the pelvis. Feel all the muscles on the back of the body contracting to pull you into this position. And then as you exhale, we're going to come through neutral and then flatten the back down on the mat. So remove any space between your back and the mat. And then we're going to lift the head and internally rotate the shoulders so that the palms come down. So this is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel really constricted in the front of the body. And then on the inhale, we're just going to come back to our neutral position. So take a moment to rest here. So now we've got the hang of this first movement, and we're going to repeat it 3 times. So when you're ready, on an inhale, arch the back away from the mat. The arms stay right where they are. And then as you exhale, let the back come back to neutral. Inhale, arch the back again. And then exhale, moving through neutral, begin to flatten the back as you bring the arms down toward the floor. The head and the shoulders lift, and you might even lift the elbows a little. And then inhale, we're coming back to goal post arms. Let's arch the back away from the mat. Exhale, neutral. Inhale, arch. Exhale through neutral. Begin to flatten the back. Palms come toward the floor. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, lift the elbows. And then inhale back to your starting position. Exhale here. We're going to do that sequence one more time. So inhale, arch the back. Exhale, neutral. Inhale, arch. Exhale, moving through neutral, then flattening the back, lowering the palms, lift the head and the shoulders once the palms touch down, lift the elbows a little, feel all that constriction on the front of the body. And then as you inhale, as slowly as you can, come back to your starting position. So keep in mind that somatics is a less is more practice. So you never have to go as far as you can into a position, as long as your brain recognizes that muscles are contracting or engaging. You've gone far enough. If it feels good to go a little bit further, that's fine, but you never need to push yourself as far as you can go. So moving on to the next sequence of movements, we're still in this goal post position with the knees bent. We're going to start by flattening the back onto the mat. The arms will stay right where they are. And then as you inhale, begin to move back through a neutral spine, press down through the feet, lift the hips into a little bridge pose, and let the backs of the hands come to the floor. And then exhale back to your starting position. Take an inhale right where you are. Exhale, flatten the back. Inhale, start moving back through neutral. Lift the hips. Let the backs of the hands come to the floor or to your props if you've placed props underneath. And then exhale back to your starting position. Inhale here. We'll do that one more time. So exhale, flatten the back onto the mat. Arms stay where they are. Inhale, release. Move through neutral. Lift the hips into bridge pose. Let the hands come back behind you or back beside the head. Hold here. Feel all the muscles holding you here. So the extensor muscles on the back, the glutes, the hamstrings, You might feel a stretch in your hip flexors. And then as slowly as you can, begin to melt back toward our starting position. Take a moment to resituate yourself. If you want, you can stretch the arms out, stretch the legs out for a moment. And then we're going to start to put these two sequences together. So when you're ready, bend your knees. Feet are planted, hips distance apart. Arms are in goalpost arms, elbows bent, fingertips pointed up toward the ceiling. So on our inhale, let's arch the back away from the mat. Keep the arms where they are in your goalpost arms. And then as you exhale, move through neutral, begin to flatten the back. Bring the palms down toward the floor. Lift the head and shoulders. Lift the elbows. Slowly, as you inhale, begin to lower back down to the mat. Arch the back away. Exhale, flatten the back. Arms stay in goalpost arms. And then inhale, lift the hips, backs of the hands come to the floor. And then exhale, back to our starting position. Take a breath here. We're going to move through that 2 more times. So inhale, arch the back away, keep the arms in goalposts. Exhale, move through neutral, begin to flatten the back, lift the head and shoulders, bring the palms down, lift the elbows. Slowly lowering down as you inhale, moving through neutral, back to goalpost arms, arch the spine away. Exhale, flatten, keep the arms in goalpost arms. Inhale through neutral, lift the hips to bridge pose, let the hands come back beside the head. And then exhale back to our starting position. Take a moment to rest and breathe. We're going to move through that 1 more time. So inhale, arch the spine away from the mat, arms and goalposts. Exhale, begin to flatten the back. Palms come to the floor, lift the head and shoulders. When the palms touch down, lift the elbows a little. Feel all that constriction in the front of the body. And then inhale, slowly lowering back to our starting position. Arch the spine away from the mat. Exhale, flatten. Keep the arms in goalposts. And then moving back through neutral, inhale as you lift the hips and let the backs of the hands come to the floor. And then exhale back to your starting position. Take a moment to pause and breathe. We're going to move through that sequence 1 more time. So when you're ready, inhale, arch the back. Exhale, move through neutral, flatten the back onto the mat. Palms come to the floor, lift the head and shoulders, lift the elbows. Inhale, lowering back to the floor. Inhale, arch the spine, arms and goalpost arms. Exhale, flatten the back. Arms stay where they are. Inhale, moving through neutral. Lift the hips, backs of the hands, come to the floor. Lift, 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 hold here. And then as slowly as you can, melt back to our starting position. Take a moment to pause and breathe. You can reposition the body a little if you like. And then you might test the range of motion in the shoulders again. So dropping the hands behind you, notice if there's a little less restriction in the shoulder joint. Moving back through the goalpost position, take your palms down to the floor. Notice whether there's a little more range of motion there. And then lifting the palms, coming back into our goalpost position. Go ahead and straighten the arms and then take them out to about a 45-degree angle with the palms facing up. Toe heel your feet out to the edges of the mat. On an exhale, let both your knees fall to the right. Inhale the knees back up. Exhale as you let the knees fall to the left. Inhale back up. Do one more to each side. Exhaling, let the knees fall to the right. Inhale them back to center. And exhale, knees fall to the left. Inhale the knees back up. Let's toe heel the feet a little closer together. And then roll to one side. Make your way into a seated position. You can sit cross-legged if you like. You can sit on your shins. You can sit any way you like, any way you're comfortable. Let's just give the shoulders a little release here. So maybe rolling the shoulders back a few times. Forward. Take the arms out to a T. And then cross one arm over the other. Take your hands to opposite shoulder blades. Drop your chin towards your chest. Stretching the muscles on the back of the neck. The muscles between the shoulder blades. And then release that. Let your hands rest on your knees. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Roll the chin down toward the chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin to chest. Right ear to right shoulder. Chin to chest one more time. And then lift the head. Take a moment to align the spine. Notice how things feel. And then bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in. And a long, slow exhale. Thank you for practicing.